So here's the latest email. Nikki Haley drops out. This is from Donald Trump's team. It was a hard-fought race, but now it's time for us to unite as a party and defeat Joe Biden.
That sounds a little more current.
I think that's the one I was
I think that's a little more current.
Katie.
I just want to bring in Matt and Philippe on something that we asked Jason Miller about earlier. And this was about the fact that immigration is now the #1 issue in the country, and then followed closely by the economy. And that's for a lot of reasons, right? Because people are seeing things with their eyes and ears and experiencing things in their communities. We talked a lot about deplorables back in 2016. Philippe, listen to MSNBC last night on immigration. Get your reaction on the other side.
If you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very, very contested area.
Build a wall. Like, what?
And, you know, I'm sure, Philippe, you know, I don't know if you live in Virginia or if you're still in the district, but I mean, that kind of reaction is something that you think something like Donald Trump wouldn't be able to exploit?
Well, look, I'm not going to be the token Dem who defends the immigration system. It's a mess. I've said that on this network a couple of times, and it's got to be fixed. What I would say, though, is that it's been a mess for the last 4 presidents, half Republican, half Democrats, including the last president, Donald Trump. So there's a lot of blame and pain to go around. But to answer your question about when is the next gathering part, I mean, think about last week. You had both Biden and Trump at the border. And, you know, that's going to be an example of those kind of events, those kind of stunts where, you know, the networks are going to have plenty to cover. This is going to be unpopular, but there are going to be some trials that are probably going to bring some people together to comment on. And I would say, lastly, you know, on the bringing the party together, I understand the focus on the various people, particularly, you know, what Kayleigh said about the interesting part about Mitch McConnell. But there's something to note here, which is that this is arguably the most set of nominees going back to maybe 1972. I mean, if you think about 2020, Biden had a fight. If you go back to 2016, Hillary had to fight, as did whoever she faced, Donald Trump. And, you know, you go all the way back here, it has been a fait accompli from the first minute. And the point is that there's a whole lot less of consolidating that either has to do in terms of policy or bringing people together. Obviously, it is going to be tied as a tick. You have to fight for every vote, but it's a very different dynamic.
Let me get Katie's take on the immigration point.
Yeah, first I would just respond and say that Donald Trump has said he's going to unify the country and the party by his success, and that will be his revenge. So just to put that out there, he said that multiple times. In terms of the immigration issue, I am also a resident of Virginia. I'm also from Arizona. Know this issue pretty well. In Virginia, MS-13, which is an El Salvadorian gang, runs roughshod in parks. In 2022, 5 members of this gang were convicted of murdering a young man and torturing him in a public place. This is a serious issue when it comes to the local budgets that are being blown out after a number of these counties in Northern Virginia in particular have become sanctuary counties. They're now trying to raise taxes on residents to make up the gap. This is a public safety issue, and this is something that Democrats have downplayed for years. It's the reason President Trump won in 2016. And for the media and the people inside the Washington, D.C. bubble to continue laughing this off as if it's just a West Virginia border state issue. It's a fentanyl issue. The list goes on, and it's affecting every place in the country, not just...
That gang, by the way, was highly effective on Long Island, New York.
Correct.
Now, we live in Manhattan, okay? Many of us were not even aware of MS-13 in these communities on Long Island. And when Donald Trump went in the White House during his first term, he went out there and made a point of going to these towns to root out MS-13. And I would argue he was largely successful.
Well, they're coming back, so that's something that shouldn't be ignored.
Bill, if I could jump in.
Please.
You know, I would say the one thing that people outside the bubble have to remember is that it was only weeks ago that the Republican majority in the House refused to pass the most comprehensive immigration law of decades. And, you know, the Republicans want to keep this issue. So you can't say this is all about Democrats.
And
I mean,
Philippe, you know, 9 months prior.
How did they get over the wall that Donald Trump built?
To be fair, 9 months prior, House Republicans passed their own bill, and it sat on the floor of the U.S. Senate. It went nowhere.
So what does that excuse last month? I mean, last month's bill was really giving everyone everything.
Americans didn't want a bill that pays for lawyers for illegal immigrants or allows 5,000 people per day or per week into the country.
Come on.
But Philippe is saying you're going to hear a lot about it tomorrow
talking
night.
Point.
You're going to hear a lot about it tomorrow night in the State of the Union, and we will have coverage for that too.
Philippe, thank you for the commentary on that. But regardless, the president sat on this issue.
It's a horrible issue. It's going horribly.
The president sat on this issue for 3 years, and now it's in just about every large city across America, and it's going to be on the ballot, like it or not, come November. Last comment.
Well, you can imagine I disagree about him sitting on it for 3 years. I would just reiterate that there's a lot of pain and a lot of blame to go back over it's just a wicked problem. That doesn't mean we don't all fight to fix it.
No, actually, I'm going to agree with you that he didn't just sit on it. He actively destroyed the immigration policies that were there in 93 executive orders. But I also believe that the Republicans are going to have a challenge to deal with the messaging that you are articulating there, Philippe. That is true indeed. Panel, stick around. Yeah. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.